Bonani. It's been some days since Bonani, so I just decided today. Let me just go on and just give you something a bit. Um, as I always say, thank you very much for those that normally tune in. Good evening, good evening. Yes, it just went on properly. Thank you very much for all those that always tune in all the time. Today I just want to talk on something that's very nice and simple. I mean, we've been under lockdown circumstances all this entire time. Sihleli lana ngenkani. The president has kept us home, forcing us to spend time with our families. Thina laba esithanda ukubaleka. You are forced to spend time with your family. You are forced to be with your wife and kids. But it's not necessarily much of a force, but it's an opportunity as well. It's an opportunity to get to know your spouse, your partner, your children, to get to know them better. I mean, especially if you're a working man, sometimes you find that you actually end up spending less time with them. But this is like a very beautiful time for you to use to actually get to spend time with your wife and your children as well, just to get to know them, build bonds, and get to watch things that your kids love, your wife loves, especially because there's no soccer, there's no sports, which is the most painful thing. Yeah, can't go out and say your Peggy Chiefs or your Peggy Pirates. You are forced to sit home and spend time with your family, but it's a good thing. It's one of those things that you have to appreciate as much as we are crying about the COVID-19, but you got to appreciate the time that you actually get to spend with your family. Now, on to today's topic. That last time I was talking about just the balance of power, where I was just sharing that the power in relationship, how it is seen, where I was just sharing that as a man, your power lies in the fact that you love your wife. There's no other power that you have. It's not necessarily because you can beat up your wife or your partner. Your power is not necessarily within your hands or within your biceps and triceps. It's not there. Your power is in the fact that you need to love your wife. The minute you love them, that's how you exercise your balance of power in the relationship. And for Abosisi as well, is that the more you give them, you exercise your love on them. For them, it's much more on they get to show you that honor, they get to show you that respect. That's all the power that there is in relationships. There is no other power. There is no power of the hands, there is no power of money, there is no other power. That is just what I call fake power, or power that can that actually reveals the weakness of the other. Because if you are a man and you are believing that when you beat up your wife, you are showing her that you have got much more power, then that shows that you are actually weak in person. Please forgive me today. I've got my family around me today. Yeah, especially the little guy who's making all the noise. So, but as I was saying, if you are you're exercising your power in your hands by beating up your wife, not exercising the power in your hands by holding her tight and making her feel comfortable and making her feel at home, and then you are exercising your power wrong. And so is women. Your power is not necessarily within your legs, but your power is within how you can actually honor and respect your man. That's where your power is, because that's what the Bible says in the book of Ephesians chapter 5, that husband love your wives, and wife honor and respect your husbands. So that's the true nature of power in relationships. There's no other nature of it. It's not necessarily because of I can beat you up, or because I'm waking up to go to work and bringing all the things in the house. That's not necessarily how I show the power to my wife, but the mere fact that I can love her and I can do those little things with her, I can hold her, that's how I exercise my power. That's how I believe that as men we need to, always see our power. But anyway, that was just a recap on the last time. Since the last time we spoke, it's been a couple of days. But today I just want to talk about on a simple thing, being a brother's keeper. As you know, this is mostly aimed at talking to us Amachita. I get to speak to us as well, on us understanding a couple of things as well. So it's being a brother's keeper, and when you study your Bible as well, you'll see that There's a very painful and beautiful story in the Bible of Cain and Abel, who were actually brothers. And in them, coming to do their offering before God, what happened was that the other one brought a much more great offering than the other, which then led to the other one being more, jealous and killing the other. You know that Cain killed Abel, and when he killed Abel, God came and asked him, "Bye bye, little man." And then God came and asked him, he asked him that, to say to him, "Where's your brother?" And then he asked and says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Quite a beautiful question, really. But the honest question is he his brother's keeper? See, I'm not going to put that into the biblical context or into the, okay, I am going to use the biblical context, but I'm not going to use that as a context of family. And I'm going to use it as a context of us gents. Like the other day when I was talking about finding a friend who becomes the ultimate brother for you. There's something that we guys sometimes miss that we actually don't pay attention to, or I believe that sometimes as guys we actually fail to do for each other. I believe that, every majita, and the thing that brings us together is church. There's something that I need to do for my brothers in church. I become their keeper. I become their keeper in a sense of saying that I need to pray for them. I become their keeper in a sense of saying that I need to ask them, dude, is everything okay or grand? Is there anything that's missing? And if you have a family, of course, I may not obviously come to know everything that there is to in your family, but time and time again, I can ask and say, Chief, is everything okay, young tall? Because that's what we miss as gents. And I believe it's something that we need to build as gents to understand that you are your brother's keeper. Amachita sestratini la uploma now. If you guys have got a serious bond, you need to understand that at the end of the day, you are your brother's keeper. The term that people you always use to say snitches get stitches. It's a brotherly thing. It's a brotherly thing. That's why when you have a friend, when you guys have come to a point where you are like brothers, there are certain things that you would share with your brother. There's a certain particular bond that you guys have that separates you from just having a normal relationship with any guy. You see, being a brother's keeper also means that when your brother is in trouble, you are always there to bail them out. Something that Cain missed when it came to his brother is that he missed the fact that he could have been a brother's keeper and asked him and said, "How did you do it? How did you bring a much more great offering before God?" See, sometimes as brothers, instead of us with this with the paint and all these things, instead of us doing all that, but would it hurt just to go, you are doing well in business and I'm suffering in business. How do you do it? And that guy himself becomes like a mentor. Remember, being a brother's keeper as well also means like you're becoming a mentor to somebody. It's quite good to say when a guy who's already Otlalekas, who has, made it in business. There's nothing wrong with Utova Machita, maybe probably 2 or 3, and be their keeper and help them. You understand? Because we are living in a society where a lot of men are shying away from their responsibility. Being a brother's keeper as well also brings you to understanding that you can be a father to someone who has never had a father. Especially if like if you have those guys that have got a relationship, that you have a relationship with them who have got a bit of a much more age gap with you. They can teach you things. There are certain things that a person would have knowledge of, or certain things that a person will have a much more understanding on, that actually can be good for the next person. You understand? And that's where we miss it. Because as brothers, if I'm going to be a keeper, it means that whatever knowledge that I have used, whatever things that I have done that have put me somewhere, I must be able to share with you to also get there. The society that we live in as black people, sometimes it's quite scary. The fact that as a black person, I can't celebrate another black person's success. It's quite scary that as a black person, I cannot come and participate in your success. I cannot come and help you go up. As Amachita, instead of us actually completing each other, we are actually competing against each other. It's quite sad. Ngoba kufanele uma ukuthi mina nginebhizinisi yami nginebhesirate yami engiyiphushayo egrand small, and you have got ideas. Remember, being a brother's keeper is actually deeper than what we can actually see in the Bible. It goes deeper. It goes deeper to actually saying that I become that person that actually becomes sort of like a guardian angel that you do not see. Because I may have ideas that can actually see your business growing, but I keep them to myself. I don't come and share with you with them because I want you to fail. But then the minute you fail, it means that I'm missing the fact of being a brother's keeper. And brother's keeper means that whatever that you go through, whatever that you, if I have got a way or if I have got things that I can teach you on, then why not? That's why sometimes being a brother's keeper means that if when I saw pambil, you can be able to assist those that are coming. We need brothers, abokrotman, abasemakas, who have made it in life to actually turn that attention to say, I'm going to look out for those that are still coming because I am my brother's keeper. If you are a man who has been married for 10 years, why don't you just find guys that have just gotten married? Mentor them. Listen, marriage itself needs mentors. Everything in life, I believe you need a mentor. You need someone that can guide you on it. You have no choice because somebody might have gone through something. My spiritual father always says to me, son, I do not want you to experience things that I've already experienced. So the best thing is that I'll teach you what I've gone through so that when you come to that, you'll be able to evade it. In everything, in business, you can have someone who has failed 20 times. If you can have someone who's failed for 5 years before they got it back, before they got it good, running good and perfect, to teach you so that you can rather have it running in the next 2 years. Listen, it all comes back to you. The glory comes back to you. The goodness comes back to you. You are the person that's going to receive that thing of saying, at least I was able to help somebody. You know, if you've been married for 10 years, you have had all the hardships and all the troubles. Take a young couple, teach them these things, what you've been through. There is no problem that's new. All problems are still the same. There is no problem that's new. In business, there is no problem that's new. It's still the same problem. It's the problem of making. Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Theo, for liking and for joining us. You know, there is no problem that's new. In business, you are still trying to make profit. Even if your business has been around for the past 10 years, you are still trying to make profit. So there's nothing new. The only there might be probably certain things that are going to be around that might change how they look, but they're not new. They're still the same. You just need to find a way. So if you have faced all those problems, it means you are able. Listen, the problem is still that it might be packaged differently, but it's still the same. Arguments in marriage are arguments. The fact that you argue about, dirtiness and all that, but you're still arguing. And in most cases, arguments are settled the same way. So if somebody has been through that, they can be able to teach you that. You know, if you have been in business, you can't just take it, guys. I'm being in particular to guys because we are the ones that can make a difference. We are the ones that right now we are bleeding, and a lot of people are not even aware that men are bleeding. The nation is not even aware that men are bleeding. The nation is not even aware that men are hurt. Some of the things that you see that men are doing, it's a cry out for help. Because if you are a person and you are normal upstairs, there is no normal man who will rape a child that they bore themselves. It's crazy. But because men are crying, why don't we become that our own brothers? Why don't we become our own keepers? Let us look out for each other, gents. If you have got a problem, find that good guy that you can talk to, who you know that can go to that you know that their advice will not be judgmental. Because that's what we need. We need to be able to take care of each other as gents. We need to come together as gents and be one. If we are going to come to a point where we outgrow, or no, not necessarily outgrow, where we actually get to conquer the problems that we have, where we actually going to heal the wounds that we are having because of some of us it's because our fathers were never there for us. Some of us it's simply because we never had a good relationship with our parents. We never had it. In most cases, in actual fact, I believe that most of the problems that we have are caused by the fact that we have no fathers. But we can be our brothers' keepers. We can be each other's keepers. For Sekasi, why don't you just take a couple of a few Nyana boys that you're seeing that these ones are falling astray. They are falling into Uchwala. They are falling into in Zango. Bring them to your curve. Begin to teach them and show them life. If you are able to overcome all those difficulties, your word will sound better than a person who hasn't even seen all that. We need to be, I believe that this world, if us men are going to change, it's going to take us men becoming our brother's keepers. If I am going to be a brother to my brother, and I not just a brother by word, but a brother's keeper, meaning that I'm going to pay attention to what you're going through. I'm going to say, if you don't have and I have and I can share, I will share with you. You know, it also means that if I have been to a certain place and you want to be there, then I can help you get there. If I have seen the world and you love to see the world, why don't I help you see the world? If I have raped my child before, but I have recovered from it, and now I want to become a better man, why don't I take in a couple of guys that are going through that psychological things? Because when you speak to them, you begin to hear them, then you begin to guide them and help them not to fall into the same trap. We need to become our brother's keeper. If men are going to see a change in this world, it's going to take men. And I challenge this man to say, you know what, let us make a difference. Let us make a difference. If I can be my brother's keeper and the person that I'm keeping can keep the next person, and we have just one joint line of brothers, we'll become a better nation. We'll become a better people. We'll become good fathers to our kids. Because if I can do that, then I can pass it on to my kids. My kids will pass it on to their kids. And then we are building a generation of a united people. But it takes you and me. So that is it, my brothers, that I just wanted to share with us. That we can be our brothers' keepers. We can stand strong. We can stand together. So just a reminder, we are going to put this into practice at one point in time. Hopefully, after lockdown comes to an end, we'll just have a brothers keeper convention. Hopefully, we'll call it that. We'll spend time together as brothers and we'll get to share about our problems. But for now, have yourself a wonderful night. Good night. Remember, be your brother's keeper. Check on your brothers. Check them. Ask them how you doing. Is everything okay at home? Just check on your brothers. Peace out. God bless.